Folks, I had to say it for Rudy. I've got one of his fancy collector's boxes here. Alpha Investments 6.9 anniversary. Been a patron of Rudy's for a little while, not as long as some other people. If you notice, it has been cut. There was a game I was playing the other night that I just had to get the D6s out to play with. So unfortunately, it's not going to be fully packed fresh, but I haven't looked in. I opened it very discreetly, pulled them out, and put them back in when I was done. So it should be a fresh opening. I'm hoping everything's going to go well. I got fingers crossed for some big pulls, but we'll see what comes along. And looking at the top, we see Stay the Course. I'm sure a lot of people have seen these. I'm going to try and go through pretty quickly, but anything at the end, I'm going to go and circle back to some of this stuff to make sure we get a good review of it. But Alpha Investments, be greedy when others are fearful. In other words, when everybody's chickening out, that's when you should pony up. All right, we're going to go ahead and pop out some of these pins. See if I got any 6-9s. We got... I'll block the text so I can read it. Well, I'm going to drop in a scan of it and we can just rely on that. But this one is 1034. Go for Dumpster Fire next. It's been that kind of a year. 0127. And for anybody who's unaware, the pins, if you end up with the last two digits as a 6-9 on the serial number, then you will get a case of something, depending on what the pin is. This is 0346. The Greed Monster is 1217. And I like this pin. 550. That's got a nice color to the Alpha Investments there. Until they use some nice paint for these. 0953. So didn't get any on these, but I'm really happy with the overall quality. They're hefty. They're not bending or anything. I'm going to do a little more concise review of the product materials at the end, but so far I'm happy with it. Let's go ahead and look at the second floor here. We've got the Rudy 6.9 Nice Metal. There is a Flesh and Blood card here. Looks like we've got two. I've seen in most openings that's going to be a foil and a sign card. We have a foil blank equipment. Ooh. And a Prism Sculptor of Arclight. I unfortunately don't play, but I've purchased some Flesh and Blood, as you can see by some of my stuff here. So I'm going to have to look that up. That looks nice, whatever it is. Forgive my ignorance. And forgive the tone of my voice. Everybody in my house has been down with the cold recently. And we've got an actual magic card. Piece of paper. Looks like we got a redemption. Alright, let's see what we got. One case of Unsanctioned. I am a huge fan of unsets. I've just completed my foil set of Unhinged. So I'm always looking forward to more uncards, either to build a deck with or just to have fun with my brothers. We'll go down to the final layer, third floor basement hopes and dreams. Oh, we have an Arcane Rising Flesh and Blood pack. We'll open this up here in a minute. We'll see what the Flesh and Blood cards in the bottom are. We have got three even bigger than that, with each a different pitch cost. I know a little bit about Flesh and Blood, but I've not played the game, as I said, so I'm unfamiliar with its playability. From what I read online, these apparently are playable in several different, they're playable and so have accumulated a cost. But I will look into that. I really got to start learning the game and just give it a try out, see how it feels. We'll go ahead and open up this Arcane Rising Unlimited pack, because why not? All right. We've got Skip the Commons. Rudy's taught us anything. We've got Absorb into Ether, Enchanting Melody, and a Common Foil Dissipation Field, or Dissipation Shield, excuse me. Those look nice. Well, I'm going to go get this thing put back together. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff we pulled now that we've gone through the majority of the polls, and anybody who doesn't want to stick around for the review of the materials can go ahead and drop. The foam board that Rudy used, I really, really like. It seems solid, seems very rigid. Looks like two pieces glued together. You've got the main backing that he cut the holes in for the stuff on the third level to poke through, so you don't have to worry about damaging it. The two different layers, like there's a nice velvety soft layer on top, much nicer than most other products you see foam inserts in. The cutouts for each of the individual cards are nicely sized in space. Each have a little thumb space that you can use to pick up the card insert. It would have been nice if it were a little bit deeper than the card, so you weren't trying to pick it up. At this point, the way it functions is like if you have a card on a playmat, trying to pick up the card from the playmat because it's on the same level. So if anybody's ever looking at any product details or trying to come up with any product designs, having a little cutout to go underneath the card to pick it up would make it a lot easier to remove. And moving back up to the final layer, the pins, again, solid backing. Looks like it comes with some free Rudy dandruff from his art. No, I'm kidding. Anytime you have a dark black material like this that has a non-flat surface, anything in the air is going to get stuck to it. So I don't, these dust particles, I don't mind. They don't bother me because it's just stuff in the air while you're packing it. Very nice cutouts. I'm curious if he had a stamp or something to cut these out. Maybe a stamp made to cut them out of this layer. As mentioned before, if you have, for these, it'd be very handy to have a single cutaway where you could get a finger or something underneath it to pick them out. I ended up using a piece of metal I had on the side to scoop underneath them. Metal's not always going to be the greatest thing because you usually want to use a material that is softer than what you're trying to remove so you don't damage it in the process of removing it. I didn't damage these, but if these are gold-plated, gold's an extremely soft metal, you don't want to scratch it by using a hard metal to extract it. These pins, they seem to have pretty rigid pins. Seem like very, very well made, very shiny pins. I'm actually really happy with how they turned out. This is something I'll have to, I was thinking about selling, I got 2 packs. I was thinking about selling the second pack online, but I think I might actually keep it and keep one as my travel set and one as my home set. They fit in very nicely once you get them lined up. It's that first pop in that's hard. This one, not a lot of people have covered it, but if you look, there's actually within the blue, you can kind of see some swirl in the text. Unfortunately, my camera may not be picking it up because the camera focuses on anything it sees with text, so I have to cover up any text for it to even try to register at this depth. So I'll drop in some high-res scans so those can be visible in the front. But all said and done, yeah, I'm really happy with this. This is a lot of fun. Rudy, thank you very much for this. I know we all paid for it, but you can still appreciate the effort and time and money that it took to do something like this. This is not something, I've worked in some rollouts and some implementations in the past. This is not something that just happens overnight. This is not something that one person gets done with great ease, and the time, effort, and care that was put into this definitely shows in the product materials. The only thing that I have kind of a drawback on is the box. The box itself, I like the magnetic lid. That's really nice. As you can see, snaps closed all on its own. I'm really happy that he did that. The cardboard itself seems kind of flimsy. I've seen more rigid cardboard used in some situations. It's not a major drawback because this is not a box meant for store shelves. This is not a box that's going to be undergoing a lot of abuse and throwing it around. This is not something you're going to see Amazon chucking across the back of a truck. These are inside other cardboard boxes, mailers. So The abuse these suffer are usually the result of extreme callous disregard by the mail carriers. So there's not really a whole lot of damage in this box. It's in really good shape. This is probably the one I'll keep shelf side. But I'll go ahead and open up the next one here in a minute, and we'll go ahead and take a look at what we got in that one.